Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast. For the recap of Stage 3 of the Tour of France, we have departed Spain, or this stage was in the process of doing so, bypassing some wildfires, crowds told to stay home. We did have the identical profile that was announced back in October, but it was a close run thing, I would say. Luckily, the situation did not deteriorate in the Occitanie region, and we had the full stage, 196 km from Granollers to Les Anglais. We go, there's like a rolling sort of medium mountain start, 10 km, 12 km of climbing, gradual climbs, and all on highways. They go through Vic, they then go through Ripoll, and then they have an intermediate sprint at Camp de Vagnol, and then they gradually make their way up the Collada de Torces. The last 4 km, that was 9% descent, all on big roads, except for the end of Collada de Torces, which goes over the border. Then they go through Puigcerdà. Oh, no, it doesn't go over the border. That's before the border, perhaps. Then they go over the border on the Col du Calvaire. 11 km, 4%, and it's just on the pedals all day, up and down, big roads. And then the finish is Les Anglais, a puncher finish, 1,700 meters, 6.7%. Last 100, maybe, 50 meters, it levels off a bit, but it's not that long, about a 3.5 minute effort, just to let you know how much elevation gain. 4,000 meters of elevation gain. And we have, it doesn't look like that many long climbs, but 4,000 meters of elevation gain, hard down the pedals.
Especially because of the difference between the ASO profile and the other ones, because the ASO profile made it look like an actual versatile sprint, even though the altitude difference was gigantic. But if we got to go back to our story first, Patrick. We went on a drive from Barcelona to Andorra. I spent most of that drive car sick in the back of the car. You were accusing me of faking it, which I take very personally. But
I'm not true. So Benji,
yes, it's true.
I didn't accuse you of faking it. I said, just stop, just grow up, just man up. Basically, I was just being toxic. I was like, a little bit uncaring. The heat was getting to me as well. It was like,
sure.
You know, when you're on a family road trip, maybe it doesn't bring you together. Maybe it tests you a little bit when you're on a road trip together in a full car in 40-degree heat, and someone's complaining, and I'm like, I don't want to be driving, so why don't you shut up?
And I was trying to make clear hints that you were taking on corners in ways that my insides were not enjoying. And then the next roundabout we get to, you choose to speed up past the car safely, to be clear. Yeah. You're a safe driver. But
I got you some Pringles.
Thank you very much.
We did a pit stop. I got you some Pringles. I was like, here, have some Pringles. And, just the original ones to keep your spirits up. But yeah, hot conditions. We also obviously suffered today. We literally did the same trip, basically. We left Barcelona, went north, left Spain, and we're now in the Pyrenees.
If anything, our journey was harder.
I'd argue we put in a similar shift to the riders today. This episode is brought to you by Thompson Bike Tours. A word on them in a second. But we go to breakaway formation. We were watching it in the car. I was telling Benji, watch the break formation. He's like, I can't. I'll get car sick. So we had.
I was on the brink of vomiting when you said that.
Luke also wasn't. He got it up. He braved through it. But Mrs. Rouge dictated what was happening. And indeed, we had Jorgensen jumping in the breakaway. Bernal, Carapaz very active. We discussed, what do you think about Carapaz? And so Jorgensen's lost time.
Yeah.
His problem is he rides for his Melissa bike. We'll get to that in a second. Is it a blacklist thing? Is it whatever? Bernal and Carapaz and Aronsman, they're still... Bernal's on 4 minutes in GC. Carapaz is close on GC. Is he doing a Ciccone?
Yes, kind of. As in, Carapaz was speaking about the KOM jersey as a potential goal before this race started. He's the kind of rider where, yes, we yapped about breakaway stages and the behavior of riders towards breakaway stage in yesterday's podcast, where some riders will handpick certain stages to go for, and then other stages that don't necessarily have 100% breakaway written on them will go to the breakaway. But Carapaz is the kind of guy that he doesn't need to go on the half breakaway stage, because he knows that once it's 100% breakaway stage and he's in the breakaway, he can compete for the victory in that breakaway. So that's an aspect there, but he's so close in GC. That said, his level at Tour de Suisse was so significant that I think he can get a decent result in GC in this race. that to the side, I would like to see him as aggressive as possible in breakaways and so forth. It's the core identity, right, of EF these days? Is that fair?
Yeah, it's going for jerseys, getting in the break. They're a break hunting team, and when you look at the final result, you realize, yeah, Carapaz, I mean, if the break went today, he would have won from it.
Yeah.
Most likely, especially if Baudin's in it with him.
Do we actually think that Carapaz going in the breakaway was being neutralized because he's closing GC?
I think it was just like UAE wanted to have the option to control the stage. And
we've seen this story before.
Yeah, I just think there was a group that they're like, too many good riders in it. We want to have the option if Pog feels good to control later on. That's going to be too hard to control. Bernal and Aronsman, I think they should probably lose more time because they don't have a top GC rider. Maybe Aronsman can stay in GC, but for Bernal, if he wants the breaks, he should just lose more time. Jorgensen, UAE were reacting on him. We were also discussing in the car, is it a blacklist thing, or is it actually just, do you not want Jorgensen up there as a satellite rider, potentially, or being ahead of the race, especially without a UAE rider?
I think there's two ways to answer this question, but if we look for an answer to, is there a blacklist thing within UAE against Matteo Jorgensen and certain other riders in the peloton, then maybe that's the case, but I don't think it's as relevant today as it maybe was last year in the Tour de France in certain moments. Well, if Jorgensen jumps into a breakaway, UAE Team Emirates knows that a Visma bike rider is going in the breakaway. If that is the case, they want to be in the breakaway or control that breakaway. Now, I do feel like criticizing Visma bike in today's breakaway formation a little bit. There were moments where it felt like Kampenaerts and Jorgensen were closing 10, 11-man groups that didn't need to be closed because they maybe were too desperate to get in that breakaway to begin with. And on the other hand, I saw Jorgensen brute forcing too many breakaways himself when it was already clear that him being in the breakaway was not really happening. Is that not negatively affecting the chances of the breakaway taking the bonus seconds away from UAE Team Emirates Pogačar at the end of the stage?
Exactly, because you're helping them create a situation where there's the longer the break formation goes on, so UAE, they like a long break formation where they don't have to do too much, maybe one or two things every 15 minutes where they have to police it a little bit. They're not actively on everything the whole time. And yeah, they were and same with yesterday in the break formation. You saw Kampenaerts closing a group of 10, you're like, but a group of 10 is harder for UAE to control for the stage win.
Yeah.
So I think UAE, they wanted the option of course to go for the stage today. I was kind of expecting them to. I still was surprised by what happened today. I thought I thought they would put McNulty in the break, to be honest, to like save energy.
The way I perceive breakaway formation is it's not just the fact that UAE Team Emirates is controlling break formation, not just the fact that Visma's accidentally helping the controlling of that breakaway formation. It's also that so many people have selected this stage as a breakaway stage that they start neutralizing themselves. We've gone through this theory so many times on the podcast. If a breakaway of 10 riders form, and let's say 7 teams are in it and a few duplicates per team, then there's probably 3 to 6 teams that have not made it into the breakaway that then start to launch a counterattack. And that continues to happen, and UAE Team Emirates doesn't actually have to close every attack. They have to close maybe half of them, because half of the other ones are being closed by, Koffert is lost it. Some Koffert rider closes the gap. I saw that a few times today, for example. So it's that leads to a super long breakaway formation phase, and the longer that breakaway formation phase takes, the better it is for UAE Team Emirates, because then they can realize, okay, it's 70 kilometers to go, guys. At this point, you might as well keep it at 2 minutes and try to win the stage.
Exactly. So UAE, they take over. Why didn't Q365 pace today?
Maybe they learned from yesterday.
What did they learn from yesterday?
That 1, Pidcock isn't good enough to beat Tadej, Pogačar and Del Toro at the finish line. And 2, other teams are going to do the work anyway, even if you want to, because I wouldn't actually be against the concept of Pinarello pacing in the peloton if it was to put damage into other potential top 10 riders that aren't as punchy as Pidcock on paper. Then again, the last 2 days haven't exactly shown that Pidcock's much better on these punchy finishes. His base level doesn't seem good enough at the moment.
No, I mean, these 2 stages are perfect for him. Like, Pidcock is he should beat Carapaz on this finish straight up. I mean, Carapaz is underrated on this finish. He's always been explosive. Like we're going back to Tour de Pologne. I always bring up that Tour of Poland win. Let me bring it up. It's got to be on his.
Is that the one? Ackermann came third on the same finish?
Yeah. Stage 3, 2020 Tour of Poland. No, it was Ulissi Mollard Fuglsang. It was a very similar finish to this, actually. Wow, crazy similar finish. And yeah, he's very, very good on these finishes. That being said, so is Pidcock. So I think
Katowice, is that?
Katowice was a bit longer, I think. It's an uncategorized climb. So do we talk about
Biala? That's it.
I didn't know it by name. I'm not that into it. Did we do Dali?
We did not do Dali. Dali was in trouble in break formation.
He's still in trouble as we speak.
Well, hopefully he's not, but I fear that
he's
he
still
might be.
On the course as we're speaking, he's got big problems.
As the finish happened, I literally put in a WhatsApp chat, if Dali doesn't have the option of holding on to a car without anyone seeing for 5 minutes straight, he's not making the time limit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and there's no spectators supposed to be on the course, so maybe he gets lucky. So basically he dropped really early in break formation. The break took ages to go. They waited with Vistrofa for him. They then had to leave him behind. There was crashes. Armirel crashed. Key lieutenant for Vingegaard. Also went down Benji's pick, Vacek, Foss, Aronsman Tarling, 3 Ineos boys, and Riccatello, the key mountain domestique for Decathlon CMA CGM. He was funny, Benji.
Sorry, I just laughed at Luke Hefter's tweet about it's a parody tweet, to be clear. Prime Minister Bart Wever has contacted UCI President David Lapercian and formally instructed him to ensure Arnaud Dali is classified within the time limit.
That's very good, Luke. That's very good.
Sorry.
Your Prime Minister...
Now focus on the podcast, Luke.
Do you have a Prime Minister Walloon or Flemish?
Flemish.
Okay, there you go. Is Prime Minister the top dog or second dog?
We've got a king, but the king is not really...
Okay.
I don't know what he's doing, to be completely honest.
Anyway, Dali, we need to see if he's out of time limit. And anyway, big crash. Armirel looked pretty hurt. He did continue, but he was in the gruppetto today with a fair few riders. Then there was a descent. There was a split. Before then, when there was the crash, Pogačar was ahead. Benji spotted Pogačar was in the front group. Vingegaard wasn't in that group. And then the reverse happened. There was a split. Del Toro's telling Pog to chill out. Kian was struggling. He was dropping in break formation. Break forms. Vercher, Van Mechelen, who was good in the Dauphiné. Garcia. Raúl. Garcia Pierna makes the break. Good legs today. Pogačar was scared of Garcia Pierna. That's why he had UAE pace. George Bennett makes it. Alex Baudin, who won stage 1 of the Dauphiné, Prudhomme. So out of the big GC teams, Prudhomme is the only rider for Decathlon. He makes it. Brazafonso for Groupama. Court Oliveira for Movistar. So 2 from Movistar. Plapp Schmidt, Tejada Boulderstone Delbova. He's quite a nice rider on Total. And Michael Storer. Bernal made the break. He made it. So did Aaron Baru, my pick for today. Aaron Baru saw UAE were pacing and he obviously he saved his legs for a better day. He wasn't dropping. And Bernal mech'd out of the break.
My pick, Vacek, saw UAE pacing in the future and decided to hit the deck on purpose.
Tried to crash himself.
But on a serious note, that breakaway did form. And to be honest, it's a pretty strong breakaway, but it depends on what happens behind then. Is it a good idea for Visma Lease bike to set a passive controlling pace already at 1:50, which means that it gradually goes out the time to the breakaway to 2 minutes 10, 2 minutes 30, 3 minutes at max? Because I feel like if UAE doesn't immediately take over, hypothetically, and Visma doesn't set that passive tempo, is there a chance that the gap explodes more and that UAE can't control it for a stage win? Or is that dream scenario?
No, I know what you mean in that Visma are setting that gradual passive tempo, letting it out on the basis that they'll have to control the whole stage. And so when you want to control the whole stage, you actually start earlier and then you gradually let it out. They don't want to, they're trying to avoid a situation where they let it out to 4 minutes and then UAE don't come and then they then have to control the break at 4 minutes or bring it down. I would argue, I mean, there's no need to be scared of Alex Baudin. All due respect, but Baudin's actually the perfect guy to give 5 minutes.
Yep. He
EF
can
will,
be in yellow by 5 minutes. I wouldn't care.
EF will honor the jersey. He's good enough to hold it for a number of days. Even on Tourmalet, he could probably hold it from the peloton 5 minutes.
How would you compare Alex Bonnet in climbing level compared to the favorites relative to Eulalia in week 1 of the Giro?
It's very similar. Eulalia and him very similar, I would say.
I would put Eulalia maybe a little bit higher.
Not before
Not
the
much.
Giro. Not before the Giro.
Oh, I agree. Not
Yeah,
before the Giro.
Yeah.
That is fair to say.
And then Eulalia like really performed well and earned that white jersey. So I would say they're quite similar. So yeah, he's the perfect guy to give 5 mins. But then UAE come and they're not worried about something that's coming up. And what's coming up is the Tourmalet stage on stage 6. The riders tested their climbing leg stage, 4,000 meters elevation gain in the heat. But stage 6 is when the tour, we finally get, not finally, it's been 3 stages, but we get a high mountain stage with the Col du Tourmalet, one of cycling's most iconic climbs. And it's one you can actually ride yourself with support from the help of our newest partner, Thompson Bike Tours. Thompson has been running cycling trips throughout Europe's great cycling destinations for nearly 25 years. It's not your typical bike tour. It's designed for people who actually want to ride. There's various levels of rides you can do, but you've got legendary climbs, big rides each day in the Pyrenees, the Alps, the Dolomites. You can take your pick of trip with experienced guides, plenty of support, and great hotels to recover in at the end of the day. It's also a brilliant way to prepare for your next cycling challenge, whether that's a Grand Fondo gravel race or whatever you're doing afterwards. So if riding the same roads as the pros with support is on your bucket list, head to thompsonbiketours.com to find your next trip. There's plenty to choose from. For the next 4 weeks, if you use code LRCP100, you will receive $100 off. Also, there's a little challenge. Thompson Bike Tours are big like Tour de France and cycling fans, and they have a little challenge for us about the Tourmalet. And if you like that, you can email them your prediction of the fastest time up the Col du Tourmalet to info@thompsonbiketours.com with the subject line, all caps, Lanterne Rouge. The closest guess will win a $250 Thompson Bike Tours travel credit. What do
Can we compete?
Yeah, what do you reckon it'll be? You can't check the length just off the top of your head.
I have no clue, man. I give up. What do you think?
But what if people pick? What if I'm the genius, right? And then I pick and then people copy me.
Well, then everybody's going to have the same time and nobody will win, right? Or everybody wins.
55 minutes, 31.5 seconds.
Okay. I'll allow it. I'll think about it for a day. I'll give my take in a couple days. Once it's closer to the finish line.
Exactly. Okay. Break formation. Poor break knows it's done for. UAE start controlling. Pedersen takes the intermediate sprint in the break. This is what he has to do. Pedersen has to do this every day. At what point? We didn't see this today. At what point do Alpecin start blocking Pedersen in the break? I don't think they need to yet until they see him do a bunch sprint.
For me, the reality is that this points classification is so significantly favored towards actual sprinters with 70 points every flat stage. And the fact that I think Azo initially spoke about having 2 intermediate sprints per day to try and counter that, didn't do that. I don't think Pedersen has a chance. So Philipsen was climbing well, so it's not like the time limit will have a problem with him either. So I don't really see the issue here for Philipsen in not really controlling Pedersen anyway at this moment. Then I think it's more gonna become clear by maybe stage 12. We're gonna have like 4 or 5 sprint stages by then. After that, we can see whether Philipsen needs to do anything in breakaways. And also we talk about Philipsen. That's not completely right off Medalier, you know?
Yeah, let's not write him off, but he's really not going for the intermediates. Let's not write off Binny either. I really think that Binny, having won it before, shows he can do 3 weeks at a good level. He has a full team around him supporting it. And Binny's actually been solid this year.
Question. Can we blame Lotto Intermarché for keeping Arnaud de Lee this long in race? He just abandoned at the end of the stage, apparently, because he obviously wasn't making the time limit based on our quick calculations after the stage. This is what the time limit's for, right? Morku 2-3 years ago, he was sick. Time limit took him out of the race. Time limit would have taken Arnaud de Lee out of the race. Clearly wasn't at the level due to sickness based on the team's explanations. I feel like the time limit has forced Lotto to do what they should have done already before today.
That's a great point, Benji. This is the proof of why the time limit is set exactly where it needs to be set and why it exists and why it's necessary, in that you have a Feeney today dropping earlier than you might think after the crash in the Italian National Championships, maybe not on his best level, but can still get through the stage and manage it within a reasonable and acceptable amount of time. Then Dali is like a different category where you're the worst rider of the peloton by far because you're sick or something physically is up with you, and probably it's not a good idea for him to continue like this. And the time limit, as you say, it's the perfect use of it and example of it working. So,
is it overkill to call it borderline mismanagement without knowing the internals of a team?
The problem is, like, he's their spearhead. He's their spearhead in the sprints. If it was just, say, if Vestroffer was really sick, even the day of the TTT, day of the TTT, you fly in someone else, and he's replaceable. They can't replace the lead. They just have to hope. It's a team that it's a smaller budget team. I can understand, but after
you can fly in Eike Vesbeek and put him on a bike.
Like, where did he finish yesterday? To Lee.
Ooh, 183rd on 19 minutes to get with Weisstroffer.
But not like that bad.
Not Narnia.
He's finished like 2 minutes behind like Trentin and Varenskol and guys. But today he was like 20 minutes behind. He was cooked. So it was different. He's got taken out, or he's taken himself out. Anyway, we move on with the stage. UAE controlling first with Pollard, then with Velens on the Torzes, then Pollard comes back. Velens drops, Pollard does it for a bit, then Großschartner. We have the breakaway. Raul Garcia Piana tries to Fuga de la Fuga, doesn't get away. On the Côte de Calvaire, Baudin just drops everybody. He was by far the strongest in the breakaway. Großschartner does a fantastic job. He's just controlling. It's this big road. We even had crosswind. It was exposed. The wind is why also with the fire risk, it's more dangerous, or why there is a fire risk in this area. And we're in France now. We've just gone over the border, and we go through a little town. Yates takes over before McNulty. The positioning battle begins. Baudin's caught. We're going to have a puncher finish with the favourites. I think it was time. Everyone knew Pogačar's going to win, basically, unless they play Del Toro, try to do play him as bait and see if someone reacts on him. That didn't happen. It was actually, to be honest, after break formation, this was a very, very straightforward stage. UAE paced one by one. They got a little bit jumbled up in the villages through into the climb. Del Toro had to come from the back. Doesn't matter. He gets there. Starts the lead out for Tadej Pogačar. Kian was struggling. Some of the less explosive guys were struggling. Libovic's better today, though. Libovic's better, working his way into the race. And just, again, 4,000 meters climbing all day on the pedals. Libovic's relatively better than yesterday, less climbing, but steeper climbing. And Del Toro winds it up. He gradually accelerates, but not to set up a Pogačar attack. Just reminded me of Jebel Jais. Really reminded me of Pogačar's victory on Jebel Jais. He dances away after the Del Toro basically drops everybody off the wheel, and he wins going away. Also taking 2 seconds on Vingegaard, hashtag bring back gaps. 2 seconds on Vingegaard, who finishes second. Richie Carapaz third. So if he was in the break, he wins from that break. Sex has fourth. I think that's a good result. Johannesson fifth on 4 seconds. Now we need to have gaps. Ayuso is not on 10 seconds. Sorry, he's not on 4 seconds, but we have Johannesson, Van Aert, Lipovic, Remco, Del Toro after the lead out. Ayuso all on 4 seconds. Hashtag bring back gaps. Gelmo's on 10 seconds. Van Wilder, Lenny, Jegat.
Yeah, we say bring back gaps, but on a finish like this, isn't it? Every time there's a gap of a second, that you're saying that everybody should get their individual time.
Yes.
Well, so kind of like the team time trial, but in a road stage. Ooh la 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 la. That was my most French ooh la la I've ever said in my life, but I would actually dig that. It's weird because then the concept of a group does not exist, but I'm kind of okay with that on an uphill finish like this. So I think I like the idea. I want to hear the comments of everybody watching the YouTube or Spotify live stream, whatever, in the comment section if you want that as well in the sport. But most notable things, first reaction. Sorry, the second the breakaway was within reach, I texted in a group with 77 people that if Tadej Pogačar doesn't win, I'll buy everybody a beer.
How are you in a group with 77 people?
It's some
Like, it's not
no free promo.
It's a sex thing or what?
Jesus Christ.
The Pogačar wins the stage very easily, and like they drew it up. UAE go back to back. Today, Del Toro repays the favor of yesterday, and I've gone through, but we thought, 2 seconds. I must admit, I didn't know exactly what would happen on countback. Pogačar takes the yellow jersey because of hundredths he had the higher hundredths in the TTT, I think. So he's on same time Vingegaard, but he has the yellow jersey. Evenepoel is on 23 seconds, Del Toro 24 seconds, Ayuso 27 seconds, Sexas 48 seconds, Lipovic 53 seconds, Lenny 109, Johannesson 111, Van Wilder 117. We have Luke just texted me about Keon. Keon says, Otterbrook says he has fever. That could explain. He lost like a minute today, quite some time. Points jersey, Poggy's in that. Vingegaard will wear on his behalf tomorrow. Baudin is in the polka dot jersey in his own right. Del Toro is 3 seconds ahead of Ayuso in the white jersey in his own right. UAE leading the team's classification. GC, Benji, is it over?
Oh, GC at the Tour de France over after 3 days? That's a bit fast.
Is it over?
Is it over
for Sexas? He got beaten by Richie Carapaz today. Is it over for Vingegaard? He got beaten by Pog today.
I'm not having this. The Tour de France is not over after 3 days. Tadej Pogačar was the favorite going into this race. He's won stage 3. He was dominant on day 2 as well, even though his teammate won. The reality is, that's also what we expect on a finish like this. I expect Tadej Pogačar to outsprint at least and perhaps even gap Jonas Vingegaard on a finish like this if it goes to the peloton. That's the expectation. These hill stages don't decide the race for me. It's the mountain stages that do. That said, my take is that Tadej Pogačar will win those as well. But that's a whole different story. That doesn't mean the race is over. 3 days into a 3-week race, a lot can happen. And it can be in the form of mechanicals, crashes, etc. I don't think a mechanical is enough to keep Tadej Pogačar from winning the Tour de France personally. But, if we take a look at Tadej Pogačar and Jonas Vingegaard, then we have a difference in range of abilities on the mountains. Their power to weight ratio over their performance over the last, 2 years. If we compare the ranges of that, I think you explained this quite valiantly in a previous podcast, and Tadej Pogačar's range is better than Jonas. Now, we are all hoping for the sake of a clash between the Titans that Jonas has stepped up from even the Giro and gets to a level where they're relatively equal in the mountains. But I fear I won't see that. And that's not because of today. That's because I've not seen anything in the last 2 years to expect that. Now, is there a reality to the conversation of Jonas Vingegaard, for example, being a bit skinnier at the Tour de France and the Giro d'Italia, or Remco Evenepoel losing some kilos versus the classics? Yes, they're going to lose some explosivity most likely based on that decision. But, and on the mountains, they should be on paper better, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Tadej Pogačar, but that doesn't change now. That changed before the race even started.
Yeah, I mean, Pogačar's been hosing Vingegaard on finishes like this since 2021. So if you look at the Longwy finish that Pogačar won in 2022, I think. So, like you said, they're on the same time in GC. So I think it's a little bit early to call whether the Tour de France is over or not. Pogačar should be winning these. That's why UAE are confident enough to invest the resources in the heat to go for it. And
the way I would present the answer is, if you think the Tour de France is over now, you most likely already thought before the race the Tour de France was over before it began.
Exactly. Then your opinion was already that you needed to see some sort of huge problem with Poggy where he's coming 8th today. And then you're like, oh, what's going on here? But right now, both are performing kind of as you expect. 1 and 2. Pogačar better on the punchy finishes, but if you already thought Pogačar's a better climber, we've seen no evidence that he's in bad condition, and we have had no opportunity for Vingegaard to show he's better than Piancavallo yet.
So Tadej Pogačar was a favorite for me, so in my head, the Tour was over before the race started, unless something happened to Tadej Pogačar, but I don't consider it Tour is over, I consider it Pogačar is the favorite. That's the different viewpoint for. Is there a difference between the two?
But then what can we just say? Look, we got nothing interesting to say about the two leaders. What can we say about their teams then?
I mean, I crashed. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Whoa.
Del Toro is the problem for Visma.
Yeah, Del Toro, like we in the previous said, Del Toro is the X factor in the Visma's second rider. They don't have a second rider of Del Toro's all-round climbing ability and punch ability.
Who would that have to be? They would need a GC rider from a different team to be signed on at Visma Lease Bike, but they, based on what I've seen in the last year when it comes to their transfers,
but
where's the money?
But name.
You'd need a Lipovic style rider, and that's not even a counter to.
That's what I mean. Del Toro is Del Toro.
Exactly.
Like there's not a second Del Toro.
Full success.
Primoz Roglic is.
I'm not having that
2020 Primoz Roglic.
Yeah. Well, what are we going to do here? 2010 Alberto Contador?
How skinny is Contador? Is he in shape?
I reckon that Alberto Contador right now could still top 10 this Tour.
I got a name for you. No, I got a name for you.
Andy Schleck.
I got a name. He's got bigger fish to fry. I got a name, and he's legit in shape where I think he could, with 3 months training, top 20 of the Tour. Valverde.
Oh, yeah.
He could. You know, before Spanish National Championships, I think I saw this on Spanish Cycling Twitter. There was a key climb, or I don't know where it was. There was a key climb in Spanish Natty Champs. In the recon the day before, Valverde set the KOM that they couldn't touch in the race.
That's crazy.
So I think Valverde. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, I think the UAE team looks like we said. They have these all-terrain vehicles.
I think it's Remco. If he can climb.
You mean you were concerned about Remco today, or you mean Remco's the X factor?
I think Remco 2024 with explosiveness is your counter to Del Toro if you're Visma.
But Remco today got dropped almost.
Yes. That's why I said 2024.
What if it's... You can look at it too. What if you say Remco being less explosive is because he's lost weight and he's gone all for threshold for the climbs?
I kind of feel like that's the case.
I also... yesterday I also kind of agree.
I expect good Remco this Tour de France. I've said it before.
I also have another hot take based on this one puncher stage. I think Sykes is going to come third.
Okay. Like, my take before the Tour de France started when it comes to Paul Sixas was that I didn't expect him to be consistently top 3 rider in the race from start to finish. I wanted to see flashes like, for example, today, where he's competitive for the podium. And I want to see that a few times during the Tour de France. And if on a random day he loses 20 minutes, which
I don't think
in modern cycling doesn't happen too often.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Like, when does it happen? When riders crash? Or when it's an inconsistent rider to begin with?
Yeah, like a Van Aertveld. So Van Aertveld 6 today. Great result.
I'm leaning more towards like a Yuzo Remco inconsistent.
Yeah.
Van Aertveld is not that guy for me. He's not him.
But he's inconsistent. Like we expect he's just going to ship 10 minutes one day.
Yeah.
Remco, I don't actually expect. It's still like a shock to me when he's dropped. I still expect. I think Remco's in good shape. But
yeah.
Anyway, tomorrow's stage, will UAE go back to back to back? 182 kilometers from Carcassonne to Foix. It's going to be very, very hot. It's a flat. It's like a hilly start for the first 27K is a little bit up and down, but then we get into some real hills. The intermediate sprint is after those hills, and I think Trek have an interesting proposition here. Do you go on the break? Do you control from the peloton? There's an intermediate sprint, like I said, at Quillon, which is 90 Ks in. It's before a category 2. 11K is 5.5%. If it was after the category 2, you just control and drop Philipsen on that category 2. Then there's a plateau descent and then the Col de Montségur, 7Ks, 6%. By McDonald's, I'm not sure if it's close to that. I've been to that place too many times. They descend and then go, it's about 30Ks or so.
Did you just give free promo to Foix McDonald's?
The franchisee of Foix McDonald's.
I'm not having that shit.
They don't open. They don't. So like on weekends, they open at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then breakfast stops at 10. They have breakfast like a 1 hour slot. And then it's rolling hills to finish. I think it's not going to be that easy actually to catch a break back after that climb, especially if you have to go hard on the climb. I think it's a very, very finely balanced stage between the versatile sprint teams that want to control, looking at you, Mads Pedersen, and Trek, and the breakaway artists who are strong in a breakaway: Vistroff, Schmidt, Plapp, Foss, Aronsman's in GC. How do you see it? Because I don't think Binny's been climbing well enough for 2 years that NSN will control for him. He's not Corbin strong.
I don't think so either.
Go on the break with Frigo, right?
Yeah, the thing is, like, we look at this first 50 kilometers and it's got that breakaway formation climb that could make a breakaway formation fun. So I'd like to see, to be honest, if you're Quickstep, don't you want the breakaway to win so that they take points away from Philipsen in the peloton if it becomes passive in the peloton hypothetically, or Pedersen if he's not in the breakaway? Because then you want to put Jasper Stuyven in the break, right?
Yeah.
Or do you trust Melier to survive? No way.
Melier, no.
Quickstep definitely needs to be in the breakaway. And then it's on Trek to balance between breakaway and peloton. Because I'm looking through the list in the start list, and
shouldn't Alberson do Verstringer, De Bruyne, MVDP in the break? Or no, actually no.
Or do you go MVDP in the peloton?
MVDP from the peloton sprinting Pedersen. He can beat Pedersen from the wheel.
You need a diminished peloton though, because Van der Poel doesn't like the fight.
It will be diminished though. It's a 7K 6% climb.
We need Aular here.
I don't think we need him here. I don't.
The Tour de France is nothing without or Louis Aular.
Yeah, I think you're right. Alberson, you play. Okay, try to drop Philipsen. You're not going to drop MVDP. And if you drop Philipsen, it's going to be thinned out enough that MVDP can sprint. Maybe they manage breaks by going in it with the Stringer or De Bruyne. So they're, I think, a key for the stage. It's all on Trek. They're going to control with Derek G, Simmons, Schoens, Verona. Trek have the best team to control this and make it hard on the climbs. I think it's going to be a reduced group sprint.
No love for Rick Pluimers?
No love for him, sorry.
I'm trying to look for alternatives on the start list, but I'm struggling if I'm being completely honest. Bittner had one versatile sprint in that Vuelta, didn't he?
You're underrating the heat and the pace they're going to put on that climb, I think.
Yeah. Come on, Gaviria, learn to climb.
If Verona just smashes that climb, it's going to be tough. Bling was jumping today.
Bling can't do a flat sprint for his life.
Nah, but he's not that. No, you're underrating how quick Bling is in a group of fit 40.
I'm not having that shit.
You're underrating Bling.
I am going to pick... Oh. I don't remember who I picked on the preview podcast. I think you picked Perez and I went for Van der Poel.
I think it's going to be hard to control the break, but I think Trek's team is so good for it. They might do it.
But a user won't work.
No, but G West, Simmons, Schoens, Vacek, Verona, and Schkelly will do it too.
But then you don't have a lead out anymore.
Yeah, but...
That's why my pick stays Van der Poel.
Okay, I agree. Van der Poel is a really good chance. Yeah, I'm going with... I don't know. I'm going with Magnus Kort.
Okay. It's not impossible.
I think he's in good shape. Yeah, I'm going with Magnus Kort.
Danish champion.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be pretty hard day because I think the break will be strong, and by virtue of that, it's going to be a hard day. Everyone, we're just looking at the finishes today. Everyone finished except Delay. So decline is in. Everyone else finished.
I do have some sad news. Yesterday we re-uploaded the podcast after I did a call to action to like the video to get a movie podcast out of us. Because of that, the likes have been split, and I don't know whether we reached the 2,250. I think you boycotted it because you didn't want to hear my review of Sheep Detective.
Maybe I ensured that that happened, and then we can't aggregate those likes. Any other news around the race?
Around the Tour de France, not necessarily. I know that Lorenzo Finn almost got attacked by a bear cub.
Yeah,
but...
on the Balaguer climb in Sibiu Tour today, long mountaintop finish, there was a bear cub ran across the road in front of Finn and Byron Munton. But yeah, Finn is looking good for GC there. He's won the back-to-back uphill finishes, the Italian talent, and Byron Munton is pretty handily in second on GC with Donovan in third. So tomorrow we have I think it'll be a sprint in Sibiu, or like hilly sprint. Anyway.
So one thing though, Pogačar's now first in GC by 0 seconds on Jonas, which means that the sum of stage positions matters.
Is it sum of stage positions or the TTT hundreds?
I think it's stage, but I think TTT doesn't matter.
So Pog is 3-2-1. So Pog is on 6 and Vingegaard is on 7.
Don't you dare make a fucking joke, Patrick.
It's no joke.
But
so tomorrow, if Vingegaard finishes if he finishes 2 spots ahead of Pogačar, you're saying he takes back yellow.
Yes, and if it's 1 spot, I don't know what the tiebreaker is.
Then this has got to be the TTT if they're on equal.
I don't think that's a tiebreaker. What do we invent as the tiebreaker?
It's the TTT hundreds.
I think it should be alphabet at that point. Just default alphabet. I give up kind of vibe.
Who will? But then, okay, Pogačar's on then in the green jersey.
Do you want yellow if you're Jonas? By 0 seconds.
I mean, you have to do the ceremony. And you probably won't take green because it'll either be Pog or Pedersen.
You don't get the benefit in time, so what's the point?
Well, you don't have to control because UAE will control anyway.
Yeah, but you can avoid everything by just not beating Pogačar by 2 positions.
So Vingegaard's got to sit.
What if they start surplusing?
Imagine they break their track standing. Sykes is finishing. Sykes has finished 1 minute ahead. Pogačar and Vingegaard track standing, looking at each other like, no, you go. Like trying to get the bike over the line. That would be funny, but indeed, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I think it's gonna be a reduced group sprint. Maybe who's likely to take yellow off them if they go in the breakaway? I'm looking at who's the most likely. Sean Quinn on 5 minutes, a bit too far. Who can be allowed? Like Higuita's allowed in. Higuita's got to go on the breakaway and take yellow. And that's what Silva did with Astana. So I like
not good enough
to go on the break. Higuita.
I'm saying he'll get Fugard out of the breakaway is my take.
Yeah, but but you mean he won't get the 3 minutes 20?
Yeah, because he'll get Fugard into like a second group that will not cooperate and will drop back.
And also Trek will keep the pressure. Like they won't give up. They'll keep chasing.
Yeah.
I think it's
for me, tomorrow's not like the stage where I'm like, wow, obvious yellow jersey goes to a breakaway rider.
Yeah, me too.
To me, that is maybe the Tourmalet stage, perhaps.
Yeah. Could be that one. Alrighty. Thanks for listening as always.
Did we select the winner? Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. And check out Thompson Bike Tours through the link down below, and we'll see you with a recap tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.